Howdy everyone, welcome back to another episode of Decked 101. I'm Greg Randolph, your lovely host, and today's video is about installing a decked CargoGlide 1500 on top of the brand new drawer system. You'll know if it's the new CargoGlide because it has plastic on the corners and it has a nice handle in the middle. You'll know it's a new drawer system because there are no ammo cans in the corners, and it has D-ring tie downs that are on top of it. If you're trying to install anything else on top of anything else, this is not your video, so go find that video on our YouTube page. While we're at it here, we'll also say that this is a video not for installing a decked CargoGlide 1500 on top of a service body, a van, or a ram box system. Before we get too carried away here, make sure that you read the instructions. Always important when you're installing anything to read the damn instructions. You'll save us all a lot of time and hassle and probably some bad words your mother would not appreciate. And then this takes a handful of tools, pretty easy to do. And also you'll need the bracket kit. The bracket kit is where the instructions to this process lie. If you don't have the instructions, you don't have the bracket, and therefore you cannot do this. So get the bracket kit from Decked. But that's it, super easy, really fast. So sit back, enjoy, and we'll get this install done. To get this job done, you're gonna need a 3/16 and a 5/32 inch hex wrench, a 1/2 inch socket and a ratchet handle, a roll of tape, and the hardware kit. And the brackets, don't forget the brackets. It all starts with your drawer system, so make sure that bad boy is installed. If you haven't done that yet, check out that video, do that, then come back to this one. First, remove the 2 cab side corner D-rings from the drawer system. Save all that hardware except for the bolts. Next, you'll remove the appropriate middle D-rings or bolts and washers depending on your install. Save the bolts, you'll use new washers here. And then install 1 spacer puck into each depression where you remove the hardware. Well, it ain't bracket science. We made 2 big old brackets to cover every CargoGlide installation for all trucks that have decked drawer systems with D-ring tie downs. It couldn't really be any simpler. The L-shaped bracket goes cab side, the flat bracket goes in the middle, and Roman numerals on the brackets indicate bolt locations for each installation and should read correctly from above. For this install, you'll be using the 4 locations indicated by the Roman numeral 1. Insert elevator bolts from underneath the cab side L bracket and mid-span bracket in each of those 4 locations marked 1. A bit of tape on the underside can help retain these and reduce cursing. Now set the L-shaped bracket on top of the drawer system about 8 to 10 inches away from the cab side bulkhead. The upstanding edge is placed on the cab side and the elevator bolts should be sticking up. At this point, you'll probably notice some stash bins may or may not be installable or removable. So if you have stuff in there, probably best to get it out now along with the drop-in bins just in case, so you can go back and use the pass-through later. Next, ask your lovely assistant to help you lift the CargoGlide unit onto the drawer system and place it on the bracket. Then extend the tray 1 stop and have them support the tailgate end of the CargoGlide. Remove the rubber bumpers from each CargoGlide unit you are installing, but hold on to those things. You'll use new longer screws to reinstall them later. Now, go ahead and move the CargoGlide onto the elevator bolts you placed earlier, making sure to line the bolt holes in the CargoGlide frame to the corresponding holes in the drawer system bracket. Reinstall the rubber bumpers by running the new button head screws through both the bracket and the frame in their original position. Hold the bumpers when installing to prevent them from spinning and tighten them down. Loosely install the nuts onto the bracket elevator bolts. Next, move the CargoGlide and bracket assembly towards the cab side, aligning the mounting holes in the drawer system bracket over the cab side D-ring locations. Now we're bolting it down. Place a nylon washer on top of the CargoGlide bracket at the 2 cab side D-ring mounting locations, then a metal fender washer on top of those. Run 2 of the new 2.5 inch tie down bolts through the washers, brackets, and pucks and into the tie down mounts. Go ahead and thread them in a bit, but leave them loose for now. At this point, go ahead and stow the tray back in its fully locked position at the cab side. Make damn sure the tray is locked in place so things don't get squirrely. Raise the tailgate side of the CargoGlide and place a stash bin or other object about 1 inch or so tall under each tailgate side base rail. Open the tray far enough to expose the bottom frame cross member above the big flat bracket. Now position the flat bracket so that the elevator bolt studs are lined with the holes in the CargoGlide base frame. Install a nut on each elevator bolt, but leave them a bit loose. Once all elevator bolt nuts are installed, position the big flat bracket over the D-ring tie-down locations. And just like on the first bracket, place a nylon anti-friction washer on top of the big flat bracket at each mounting location, followed by the metal washers on top. Install your original tie-down bolts loosely in these 2 locations. Check for final fitment. You may need to push, pull, or otherwise cajole the CargoGlide into the optimal position. Be sure to leave enough clearance on the cab side for the CG unit to close. That's usually about 1/2 inch. Once you're happy with the position, tighten all bolts and nuts until they're good and snug. But it's not time to impress your friends with your big muscles by how hard you can crank on that hardware. Just get them good and snug. Before you take the next step towards total organizational enlightenment and load it up, do one final confirmation of the fitment and operation by fully extending the tray and checking her all out. If needed, loosen any necessary fasteners to make small adjustments and then retighten. Just like with your lug nuts after a tire rotation, it's a good idea to ensure all nuts and bolts stay tight after driving a ways. Okay, that's it, we're done. Way to go. Should look just like this. If it doesn't, that's probably on you. It was really easy, and hopefully it made sense to you. If you have any questions about this installation process, any deck products, anything else deck related, or just deep philosophical debates you're having with yourself, please hit us up in the comments of this video. You can also contact us via the socials, on the DMs. We answer our phones. You can send us an email. We're here to help. We don't really do ESP so well, but all other forms of communication are pretty good. And thanks for being a customer. If you're not a customer, hopefully this got you pushed over the edge, and we'll get a chance to work with you as well. So once again, thanks for tuning in to Deck 101, and we'll catch you later.